Hi, I'm Jeremy Love, immigration attorney here in Birmingham, Alabama, and today I'm going to talk about fiancé visas, which is the process of a U.S. citizen bringing their fiancé here to the U.S. to get married and then obtain their green card or legal permanent residence. At Love Immigration, we've been helping our clients navigate the immigration process for 14 years. We provide honest evaluations of cases and guide our clients with a clear strategy throughout the immigration process. We like to say it's immigration as it should be. So for fiancé visa requirements, one requirement I mentioned is that the petitioner is a U.S. citizen. It's not an option for people who are green card holders or permanent residents. Also, one requirement generally is that the couple has met within the last 2 years in person. It's okay if they've known each other much longer than that, obviously, but within the last 2 years, they had to be within each other's presence. There's certain religious exceptions to that, but they're difficult to obtain. So about the fiancé visa process. It starts with a petition. It's an I-129F petition that shows valid intent to marry here in the U.S. That's filed with the USCIS, and once they review it and approve the petition, the case is then sent to the consulate abroad. And there are some additional applications that have to be filed, additional documentation, as well as a medical exam and interview process. So once the interview is conducted and the visa is approved, the applicant will get their passport with an actual visa in it, like physically in it, and then they'll use that to come into the U.S. and then they have 90 days to marry. And then once they've married, they file for adjustment of status for their green card. And that's an additional step in the process that involves an interview, an adjustment of status interview. And here in Alabama, that's in Montgomery. But it depends on the state that you're in because there are a number of USCIS immigration offices locally. So that's the process briefly for fiancé visas. Now, sometimes a fiancé visa is not the best option, and also sometimes they're denied. So in those situations, there may be an appeal or a motion to reconsider that could be an option, but also there may be some other immigration options available to people. And that could include getting married abroad and filing for a spousal visa or consular processing that would allow the immigrant to enter the U.S. as a legal permanent resident already, but then there's a fee that's paid to actually receive your green card. But every situation is different, and so couples should look at their interests as far as timing, where they want to marry, whether or not they want employment authorization at the point of entry, which depends on the process. And really overall deciding which strategy, which route to take, which one's best for you. Okay, so a couple of misconceptions. First, that when the fiancé visa is approved, that automatically the person receives a green card. That's not true. That's an additional process that I mentioned called adjustment of status. Also, just marrying a U.S. citizen doesn't give you any status. It gives you the opportunity to file for immigration benefits, including permanent residence. But that really depends on a number of factors, whether or not the immigrant would even be eligible. And that depends on things like whether or not they're in the U.S. or abroad, as well as how they enter the U.S., that's with a visa or without. So there's a number of different factors to consider that it would be good to talk to your immigration attorney about. So fiancé visas can absolutely be a good option, but immigration law is usually more complicated than people realize. So before filing, make sure you get solid legal advice from an attorney who has experience with immigration law and can tell you about not just the law, but real world consequences for the immigration process. I mean, right now it's really complicated. With the current administration, everything with immigration is more complicated than it was. And some cases can lead to detention or even deportation if they're not done right from the beginning. So at the end of the day, immigration is stressful enough. The process should be as clear, honest as possible and handled the right way. So thank you so much for listening, for watching. Again, my name is Jeremy Love, immigration attorney, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.